Welcome guys, one more session. So in this slide, I will be explaining to you about the eBGP multi-hop lab. Okay. So as a previous slide, I have explained it to you uh, about the theory of eBGP multi-hop lab, why we need the eBGP multi-hop, and when we need to use the eBGP multi-hop. Okay. So this is a diagram that I will be using in my tutorial here to explain about the eBGP multi-hop lab. So this is the router 1, router 2, router 3 we have. So we will be making the neighborship between the router 1 and router 3. Okay. And the neighborship will be between the router 1 and router 3. Okay. So when we are making the neighborship, the first requirement is the IP address to be reachable. Okay. The IP address to be reachable. It means if I'm sitting at router 1 and if I try to ping the interface of the router 3, which is 2.2, it should be reachable. Second, we will create a neighborship, okay, between router 1 and router 3. Okay, so these are the configuration that I will be using in my lab here. So first of all, I will go to the router 1 and apply this configuration, and then I will go to the router 3 and apply these configurations. Okay, so let's see how this work. So as I explained it to you in my previous slide, that the by default when we are configuring the eBGP neighborship, Cisco IOS presume that it is directly connected. It means they should belong to a same subnet. But here in this diagram, since we are making the neighborship between router 1 and router 3, and definitely they are not directly connected. Since they are not directly connected, they are not from the same subnet. One is from 1.0 and another one is from 2.0. Okay. So let me go ahead and do the configuration. First, we will check if the IP address are reachable. If they are not reachable, we will make it reachable with the help of a static routing. Okay, or we can also use the IGP protocol. Okay, but to keep it simple, I will be using here first the static routing. Okay, and then we will create the neighborship, and we will see whether we are able to create the neighborship or not. Also, if we are not able to create the neighborship, then we will see how we can use the multi-hop command. Okay, so let me go to the my computer screen now. Okay, so this is the diagram that I have created in my GNS3. So router 1, router 2, router 3, exactly the same diagram as I shown you in my picture. So first of all, let me go to the router 1. Okay, and I'm pinging from router 1 to router 3, which is 192.2.2, and we see we do not have the reachability. So before we make the neighborship, first of all, we have to be sure that we should have the layer 3 reachability. It means the interface to whom we are making the neighborship, it should be reachable. So now we are at router 1 and we try to ping the router 3, which is 2.2, and this is not reachable. So as I said, there are two ways we can make this interface reachable. We can use the static routing, or else we can also use the IGP routing. But for a simple task, let's we go ahead and create a static routing. Okay, and this is the subnet mask, and to reach to this network we should go via R2, which is okay. And let's we do the same thing at the router 3 here. from router 3 we should go via the interface F01 from the router 2. Okay, so the gateway should be 2.1. Okay, good. So now let me check if we are able to ping the router 1 IP address. Yes, so now we are able to ping it from router 3 to router 1. Let's check from the router 1 as well to make sure. Yes, so in both way we are able to reach. Okay, so now we have to make the neighborship between the router 1 and router 3. Okay, so we are router 1 and applying the router BGP, and then we have the autonomous system for router 1 which is 100, and then we will be using the neighborship command and the IP address of the router 3, and the remote AS is 300. Okay, so this we have used here at router 1. The same thing we will be using at router 3. So we will be using it here the router 3 as well. Okay, so now we have used the command at the router 3 and then provided the remote AS which is 100 for the router 1. So now let's check if we do have the neighborship. So show IP BGP summary. See, still now we do not have the neighborship. From router 1 we are checking if we do have the neighborship, but we do not have the neighborship between the router 3 and router 1. So the state is showing as idle. So it means I do not have the neighborship between the router 3 and router 1. So guys, as I told you that to create the neighborship, the first of all it has to be a reachability. So layer 3 reachability should be there. So as I checked initially, from router 1 we can ping router 3, from router 3 we can ping to router 1. Okay, but still we do not have the neighborship. Okay, so now what should we do here, because we are making the neighborship between the router 1 and then the router 3. Okay, so first of all let me take the packet capture so that I can tell you what actually happening here in terms of the not directly connected router. So let me take the packet capture of the both interfaces between the router 1 and router 2 and router 2 and router 3. Okay, and then we will see what exactly happening here. So right now we do not see any neighborship, we do not see any update between the router 1 and router 2. Okay, okay, so as I explain it to you in my slide is this: in Cisco IOS it has to be directly connected. So let's do a task. First of all we will go ahead and use the command neighbor IP, and then we will disable the connected check. Okay, so when we will use this command disable connected check, it means we are telling to the Cisco router that we are not making the neighborship with the directly connected neighbor. Okay, so the Cisco IOS should ignore this step when he will be checking those steps. Okay, so let me take you to the screen and then we will see it here. So now what we will do here, we will go to the router 1 and use the command, the same command. So we have to tell the router 1 that we are not directly connected, so that the Cisco IOS should skip this step. Okay, so disable connected check at R1, and simultaneously we will use the same thing at the router 2. Okay, so now in both end of the router 1 and router 3, we are uncheck the disable connected. Okay, and then let's go to our packet capture and let's see if we get any update. Okay, so here it is, the update. Okay, so let me tell you what update it is. So let me open this packet. So what happened, you see here. So here you see here the source IP is the router 1. So this is the source IP that we have here, 192.168.1.1. So this is our source IP. Okay, this is the R1 IP, and from R1 the BGP packets are initiated from R1 and the destination is our R3 router, which is 192.168.2.2. Okay, so it means from here the packet is initiated from here. Okay, the packet is going from router 1 to the router 3 via router 2. Okay, and now you see the destination port. So we are also seeing the destination port, which is 179, because that BGP established the TCP before it forming the neighborship. So we can also see the port number, which is 179. Okay, but if we see the second packet, which is here, so in our second packet, if we see the second packet, so the second packet says that from source 1.2 to destination 1.1. So if we look into the first packet, in first packet, let me show you one more thing here in my first packet. So if you scroll down a little bit, you will see the TTL value, the time to leave. So as I explained it to you, that when we are using the neighbor command at R1, the BGP packet has initiated. Okay, along with this BGP packet, there is one more field which is known as the TTL field, and for the eBGP neighborship, the TTL value is always 1 because it has to be directly connected. So by default, the Cisco IOS says it has to be directly connected. So when the packet is initiated towards R3, it is initiated from the R1, and then the TTL value is by default 1. Okay, the packet reaches to the R2. Okay, so now you see here, when the packet reaches to the R2, we are receiving one more update from R2. You see, let me close it here. You see, from the R2, the packet has initiated from the R2, which is 1.2 towards the 1.1. Okay, and this packet is the ICMP packet. You see the packet, Internet Control Message Protocol. So this is the ICMP packet. So in this ICMP packet, you just scroll up and you will find it here. The time to leave is 11 and code becomes 0. So what is happening here, when the packet reaches to the R3, okay, and since it has to be directly connected and belongs to same subnet, but when Cisco IOS is thinking that it is not directly connected and not belongs to a same subnet, the R2 is dropping the TTL. The R2 is rejecting the packet, discarding the packet, because the packet should move from R2 towards the R3. But since this is the one hop away, by default it should be in one hop. But since it is one hop away, the TTL value is getting decremented. When the packet is sending from R2 to R3, the TTL value is going to be 0. And this R2 is sending an ICMP messages to the R1 saying this, your hop is one hop away, okay, hence we cannot make the neighborship, so I am dropping the packet. And then he is sending the update to the R1. You see here we have the TTL value 11 and it becomes the 0, the time to leave exit in transit. So it means the number of hop by default it should be 1, but it has been increased more than 1, so therefore the TTL value has become 0. Okay, so the R2 is sending a message to the R1. Okay, therefore we are not able to make the neighborship. But what we did here in our diagram, we ask the Cisco iOS to disable the connected check, but still we are not able to form the neighborship. Okay, so now since our hop is more than one hop away, we have to tell to the R1 that our hop is one hop away. So in this case, we have to use the ebgp multi-hop command and provide the multi-hop number. Okay, so let me go ahead and use the same. We will go to the R1 and use the command that ebgp multi-hop. So we have the two hops away, because from R1 to whom we are making the neighborship, it is two hop away. So we have to go to the R1 and tell to the R1 that, hey Mr. R1, the router to whom you are making the neighborship, which is two hop away. So we have to specify the number of hop, which is 2. Okay, and simultaneously we will go to the R3 and specify the same. Which is also 2 hop away. Okay, so now you see if we are able to make a neighborship. Okay, so we have to wait a little more time because the BGP is the quite slow conversion time. So then we will see here if we are able to make neighborship, and then here you see this, the neighborship has become up. So now you go to the router. So now you go to the router and use the command show IP BGP summary, and then you will see here from router 1 we have created neighborship with the router 3. Okay, and which is up for 18 seconds. Okay, and then you go to R2, use the same command, and you will find the same. Okay, okay, so you see the both the neighborship are up since last 38 seconds. Okay, so now if we go to the packet capture again, in this packet capture you will see it here. Okay, so I'm stopping it and then scroll up, and you see the packet has initiated from the router 1 towards to the router 2, which is router 3, which is 2.2. And first of all, the sync message has been sent from the router 1 to the router 3, and from router 3 it has acknowledged the sync message and then again send a sync, and then router 1 again send a sync message. So it means between the router 1 and router 3 the TCP establishment has been accomplished. Once the TCP establishment has been accomplished, the neighborship has been up. Okay, so now we have the neighborship created between these two. Okay, thank you guys.